This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you by BitRefill. BitRefill is the best way to spend your crypto in Latin America. Purchase gift cards or mobile refills from more than 3,500 brands in 186 countries instantly, safely, and privately. Visit bitrefill.com for more information. Welcome back to another episode of the My Latin Life podcast. Since 2014, My Latin Life has been your trusted guide to traveling and living in Latin America. My guest today is Jarrett Holmes. He's a digital nomad, SEO agency founder, currently based in the northeast of Brazil in a city called Fortaleza, and we welcome Jarrett to the podcast.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Wow, that was such a glamorous opening. I feel like a rock star now.
And you know what? We've never had a podcast dedicated to anywhere in the Northeast before.
Yeah,
We've had
I'm
a
not
number of,
surprised. So many people are, when they hear Brazil, they're like immediately they just their mind goes to Rio, obviously, or even Sao Paulo.
and you're in Fortaleza?
Fortaleza, I'm all the way on the north coast, directly across the pond from Florida, so to speak.
And so in this episode, definitely want to get a bunch of information and intel on Fortaleza and on the northeastern region of Mexico. We've had, of course, a number of
Brazil.
Brazil guests on. Yeah, we've had Stephen Story. We've had a Brazil roundtable episode. Definitely a couple more, um, but none in the Northeast, which I think is a wildly underrated region. So we'll get into that a little bit. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Cool. So how do we want to kick things off? How long you been in Brazil?
I've been here coming up on 12 months now. In a few weeks, I'll hit my 12 month. I arrived on December 22nd, just before Christmas last year, 2022. Um, I initially came, I basically, I got divorced, unfortunately, and then I decided, it's my second divorce, unfortunately. My two ex-wives are from Venezuela, so I've been a Latina fan for quite a while. But when that ended, unfortunately, I just immediately made the decision that I'm leaving. There was a lot of things I was really unhappy about in the United States, and I just made a decision to go. So it took me a while to get ready, to sell some things, to get all my finances in order, to save a little bit of money before I came. And during that transition, I met a girl. Initially, I was going to go to Playa del Carmen in Mexico. That's
Mhm.
where I originally wanted to go. But then I met her, and she was in Brazil, and she was from the interior, and she wanted to come to Fortaleza. So I said, just come to Fortaleza, meet me here. And I talked to her actually for almost 5 months, before I even came here, to meet her for the first time. So it was quite a long distance communication before that happened. But that's really the only reason that I came here. I have dated a few Brazilians in my past, and I've always loved what I've seen and heard about Brazil, online and from the girls I've dated. But I didn't really have like a super strong passion to come here. But I'm really glad I did. It's been really, really life transforming for me.
Definitely a different experience than starting off in Playa del Carmen. Playa del Carmen's relatively plug and play, abundance of Airbnbs close to the airport,
Right.
short flight from Florida, lots
Yeah.
of English spoken, that kind of thing. Whereas Fortaleza is a little bit more jumping in the deep end.
That's right. I figured I might as well just go for it. YOLO. You only live once, so I'm all in for sure.
So tell us a little bit about the vibe in Brazil versus the USA.
Man, it's really incredible. I could just really feel, myself not just de-stressing once I got here, but it's a whole new world. The people here are just so happy. You really don't see, of course, I don't speak the language, so, I don't see it like a local might see it, but you just don't see stress here. And a lot of the turmoil and things that are going on in the United States, you don't see any of that here. Even people that make very, very little money. I think the average income here per month for in Brazil is like 1,500 to 2,000 reals, which is like $500 American per month. Okay.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't matter to them. They're very, very happy. They're all about lifestyle, music, food, friends, family. Um, Extremely non-consumerism here. No one really cares or obsesses about social media and brand names and uh, you know all that mess that's going on in the U.S. about everyone just spending every dollar they make plus getting into endless debt. Just trying to buy crap to impress everybody. Basically, it's the exact opposite here, which I absolutely love. I've never been around such a minimalistic um, environment or society, and it's really been life changing in so many ways. I mean, I can go into endless examples, but just the culture, the every you can go in 30, 40 miles in either direction and have 100 different beaches that you can go to with barracas and have drinks on the beach, and everything is just so inexpensive here. You're going to save 50 to 75% off of almost everything in life here. And we'll
Mhm.
get into that later on a few other questions, I'm sure. But you know, it's really been transformative. Psychologically, I was going through a really hard time in the United States, not just with the divorce, but just with my finances. Because I make good money. I make good money compared to a lot of folks in the U.S., and I was not getting by at all. I wasn't saving. I was only adding more debt, and it was causing me endless amounts of stress basically. And I was just fed up and over with it. And like everybody else, I had been watching all the things on YouTube for years and years and years that all the other nomads were doing. And it was almost too good to believe. And I was like, let me just come and experience it for myself. And man, it has been life changing. It's been really spectacular, the financial aspect of living overseas, especially in Latin America. I'm also very interested in Thailand as well, but that's not important for this conversation.
Mhm. And for reference, you lived in Florida before?
Yeah, I came from Orlando. I was in South Florida before that. Most of my life I've lived in Florida. My parents still live in North Carolina, so I spent a few years in Georgia, about 9 or 10 years in North Carolina, but I've lived in Florida three separate times now. So most of my life I've lived in Florida.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Talk more about this sort of weight off your shoulders in terms of cost of living and the
Yeah,
keeping up
sure.
with the Joneses and all that.
And I would really love to. It's I would say this is probably the most important thing of all the advantages I can say for moving to Latin America is that when you come here, I was a little apprehensive, but I'm an entrepreneur and I've always been I don't you know I don't give a rat's ass kind of guy. Like I'm just I'm all I go for something and I go all in basically. I don't live in regret. So I just went for it, even though I didn't speak the language and I didn't know a single person here other than the girl that I've been dating. So, but you get here, you get accustomed to, you know, you walk down to the beach, you spend a couple of bucks if you want to, $2, $3, $4 on a little breakfast. You just go to the beach, you have drinks, it costs nothing. Everywhere I go, I take an Uber, it costs less than
Mhm.
$2 for an Uber.
Mhm.
Okay. The last Uber I took that was 25 minutes in one direction was $5. Okay. Now you compare that to the U.S. Anywhere you go is going to be at least $15 to $20 minimum. And then, of course, if you drive 25 or 30 minutes away, you're talking 50, 60, $70 in one direction. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're easily going to save 75 to 90% on Uber here. Um, in the US, as far as the car thing, it's you just can't live without a car. Everything is so spaced out. Everywhere you go, you got to drive 20, 30 minutes or an hour to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Here, it's like I don't even miss having a car. It's the first time in my life I haven't had a car payment, car insurance. I mean, and I had a really nice Honda Accord before I left. Before that, I've had Lexus, I've had BMWs, I've had all kinds of cars. So, you're going to save at least $800 to $1,000 a minimum by not having a car. I'm spending right now because I work from home. I don't drive unless I need to go somewhere. Shit, less than $200 a month on Uber rides by at the most, probably closer to 125 or 150. And I can go anywhere I want, anytime. Even if I want to go to a different beach an hour from here, guess how much it costs to drive an hour away on Uber? $20.
$20, yeah.
$20 one way. Okay, it's just I'm still a year later getting my mind, wrapped around how amazing the cost savings is. My rent, I live right on the beach. I have a two-bedroom condo on the 23rd floor. On the top floor, I pay 1,500 a month. In Florida, I had a two-bedroom condo apartment on a lake. That was 2,500 a month. Um, so it's just apples and oranges. The food savings here, going to I can walk to the grocery store. I can walk downstairs to one of like five pharmacies within 2 blocks of me. I can walk to almost everything I ever need. There's dozens of obviously restaurants and bars and everything on the beach. There's an all-you-can-eat churrascaria steakhouse, where they cut the meat off the slabs right in front of
How
you.
did you say that?
Churrascaria. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
Churrascaria.
Churrascaria. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have my Spanish down pat, but but yeah, yeah, Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
unlimited meat. Guess how much it costs here? Right on the ocean, 20
Tell me.
$25, all you can eat,
Yeah.
and it includes a massive sushi buffet, salad buffet, yeah, all kinds of other stuff. And the cocktails are $5-6 each for big cocktails. Um, you know, it's just a massive savings. I mean, you're saving many, many, many thousands of dollars a month easily, minimum. By coming here, or obviously Colombia, I heard is even cheaper than here.
Mm.
My city, Fortaleza, is definitely cheaper, much cheaper than Sao Paulo or Rio. I
Hmm.
went to Rio last month, and Swedish Gringo is a friend of mine from YouTube. He was just here for a few months and just went back to
Hmm.
Rio to make more content. But he and I talked extensively about that. I was only in Rio for a couple days. I wasn't there for very long. Um, but yeah, it's life changing. We have the medical and the dental and other things that we can talk about as well. But it's, I mean, I just wake up every day, look out on the ocean right here. I'm staring at right now on the balcony, and I'm just, man, my life is so blessed. I wish I really honestly would have did this like 10, 15 years ago, because it's been absolutely life changing. We
Mm.
can get into income later, and like the money I've saved in the past year and the amount of debt I've paid off. That's a really big subject, because a lot of people are really suffering with debt, and it's really crushing them, like
How
it
big is
was
a
me.
thing is that in the States? Like people in debt,
Dude,
like
it's big. It's really, really big. I think the average credit card debt in the U.S. is like 40 or 50 grand. Um,
per adult?
I don't really know what it is, but I've heard that it's really, really high. And I know that a lot of people are, you know, really suffering from it. So it's
Jeez.
definitely a marriage ender. It causes a lot of suicide. Causes a lot of really, bad things in life. So all I can say is, man, if you want to pay your debt off fast and you can make money online, man, you need to leave the country immediately, because you will pay off your debt in record time. By living here, or well, lots of the other very inexpensive places in Central South America, or Asia. Anywhere where it's just way, way cheaper.
This is
So
good
for me,
intel. This is
yes,
good to
for me, it's been incredible, man. I mean, I can't even tell you psychologically how it's transformed my life, and how amazing it's been for me. I mean, I feel like a whole new person. Like I've never been this happy in my entire life, and the future is so bright for those. And I'm 52, by the way. So for those of you that are getting close to retirement, or retirement is say 10 or 20 years away, and you haven't saved anything, and you're getting your ass kicked by finances and bills, and you want to
mm,
save really fast, this is another power move that I would highly recommend. Do it, because most people in the U.S., they might be able to save into, let's just say, index funds or something like that. Shit, 500, $1,000 a month, maybe, if most people are living check to check. Most people.
yeah.
But if you want to save 5, 8, $10,000 a month in index funds and retirement, options and things like that,
Yeah.
this is the power move you want to make. Because you can do it. You can save way more than that. Depending on what kind of cash flow you have. But um, I
Mm.
was actually going to get with you on the you know, it's coming up on the end of the year, and I want to figure out what I need to do about this Paraguay residency, and to
Oh,
make
let's
some
do
better.
it, bro. Let's
I need to
do
make
it.
some better tax moves like immediately. But yeah, that'll be on a private call, obviously. But yeah, man, I'm super happy, super happy.
How much do you think you were spending back in Florida per month?
shit, I was back then. I was making, I mean, I don't need to get into details. I was making six figures, okay, and I was not. I was barely surviving. I mean, I was also supporting my wife, but I wasn't going anywhere positive in life. Let's just put it to you that way. I also had a lot of debt. So that's my own fault. It happened slowly over like 10 years, but selling the car was a big relief. Getting here and having basically no bills other than rent and food was a unbelievable relief. And then when you go to the store, I mean, shit, I can buy food for an entire month and it's like 300-400 bucks. And I'm eating
Yep.
like, I can buy 6 or 8 pounds of filet mignon for like $15 or $20. And then, I can basically, I'm eating filet every day. Lobster
Dude,
tails on the beach are like $5 here. It's unbelievable, man.
I should have had you on the podcast earlier because you're doing a great job of selling Latin America for us.
I, it's whatever you see on YouTube from all these other people. It's way better than what you're hearing. Trust me, it's that good and a whole lot more. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm not. I mean, I have no plans as of right now. I have no zero plans to ever go back to live in the United States at all.
Hmm.
My plan is to get residency in 4 or 5 places. I mean, you know the drill: 4 or 5 passports, multiple bank accounts in multiple places. I would love to buy 2 or 3 condos. Like one in each of my favorite countries,
Hmm.
and just I love the idea of every 4 or 5 months just bouncing around, man, and just being in a new place. And then in between there, the craziest thing to me is like I couldn't even afford to take like a real vacation before, and I was making good money. So number one, I was living way beyond my means, and the reason I say that is because look, when you can afford a $600 lease payment, to you it's like nothing, right? But what you don't realize is you're paying 600 for a lease, but you're saving nothing for retirement. Okay, what I should have done was bought a car for 250 or 300 a month and put the other 300 in an index fund. Okay,
Right.
so the big lesson there. And I know I got friends that are paying $1,800 a month for leases. Okay, I mean,
For car notes.
no, not even no, they're leasing, not even a car note for a lease. Okay,
Mm.
um, and then you come here and you see everyone driving a 2,000 or a $3,000 car, and everyone's happy. People don't even the crazy thing. People don't even wash their cars here. I literally have seen three detailed cars. I've seen maybe three or four detailed cars in the last year. It's just so different. It's so different. Everybody, you go to Centro and all these markets and places, and they sell. You can buy any Nike knockoff shoes you want for $30, and 90% of the shoe stores here, unless you go to the fancy malls, of course, well, which they have here, they have really nice Western malls with all the fancy stores, but they sell 90% of the shoes here are like all the Chinese brands, from AliExpress or from China or whatever, and people
Hmm.
buy them and shop and wear, and they sell all the knockoff clothes in the Centro and all that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about all that material shit here. It's not important. It means nothing in life. So, anyways, I've really come to appreciate like the things that really matter in life by being here, spending good time with friends and family, making new friends, enjoying traveling. Yeah, so I was going back to the traveling thing I was saying before. Like now, not only can I can actually live off of, which is mind blowing to me. I can live off of like 20% of my income and be really comfortable. And I've never in my life have I ever been anywhere close to being able to do that. And then on top of that, hold on, let me close my Skype down so this doesn't happen anymore. And then on top of that, I can also travel if I wanted to. I could travel once or twice a month to
Hmm.
one of the endless places around here. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of, they call them posadas or something like that. It's like a little bed and breakfast hotel, but even the Airbnbs. I stayed at like a 5-star place last month, um, called the YY Eco Resort. It was like 70 for a beautiful 3-bedroom condo, $75 a night,
Hmm.
and they serve all the food and drinks to you right at the pool, right on the ocean, infinity edge. You get the idea. But everything is just so expensive. So you can live like a king or a queen. You can travel all the time as much as you want to. You can eat like a king and queen, and then you can save for retirement, invest, and then at the end of the day, you still have money left over, and you're just really just enjoying a life. but the most important aspect is you're eliminating all stress. You can be free, financially free, and quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it's been, yeah, it's I'm very thankful that I made the move.
Tell me about becoming a non-car owner guy. Tell me about the move, because if you grew up in Florida, you probably had a car since you were 16, 18, 20 years
That's
old,
right.
right? So
Yeah,
30 years of car ownership,
yeah.
and now you don't have a car for probably the first time ever.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever not had a car in my entire life, for sure. It was a little weird at first, just because you're used to, okay, where are my keys in the house, and I need to go downstairs to the garage, and
Yeah.
but it's like now I don't have to worry about a payment. I don't have to worry about insurance. The driving is a little crazy here. The streets are more narrow than normal streets, so the cars are just basically constantly doing this the whole time, and into each other's lanes, into
Yeah, yeah.
the
Lanes
motorcycles
don't
here.
really exist.
Exactly. Yeah. Lane splitting is legal here. So all the motorcycles go on both sides of the car, nonstop. But I don't have to worry about anyone door dinging or crashing into my car. I don't have to worry about car maintenance. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to park my car. I don't have to worry about a garage spot. Dude, it's been amazing. There's two big apps here. Obviously, Uber is big. There's another one called 99, just the two numbers, 99.
Hmm.
And that one's a little bit cheaper than Uber. But all you need is those two apps. You can go anywhere you want for like $2 or $3. It's you pay like an extra 50 cents for air conditioning if you get comfort mode on Uber. But why would I even, if I can pay even to go an hour away to Kumbuku or some of my other favorite places to go, it's cost me $20. I just find a couple of my Uber drivers that have the nicest cars, and then I get their WhatsApp,
Yep.
and they're like my personal driver. I'm like, and I've already used one of them 3 or 4 times.
It's a
So I'm
good
like,
tip.
yeah, dude, I just hit him up. Hey, I need to go to Kumbuku. I got 100 Rias for you. 125 Rias, whatever. It costs like nothing. When can you take? Yeah, no problem, no problem, sir. I'll be right. I'll be right there. You just name the time. So um, that those are some hacks. People can definitely live here and be really comfortable for 4 grand a month. There's nice places that you can live, that are like average right on the beach here for $800 a month, $1,000 a month. Um, and then obviously, you could get by on 3,000 a month, if it's not going to be super cush. You know what I mean? Um, but if you make more than 4 grand, I mean, you'll be more than fine. Yeah, you'll be doing. Yeah, you'll be more than fine. Yeah, no problems whatsoever.
Hmm.
Um,
That's awesome. Tell me about the language barrier. That would probably be one of the big, like, language and safety. Like, you've basically sold us on the lifestyle and the cost of living and all that stuff. You're preaching to the
yeah,
choir, obviously, but for the
yeah,
audience.
yeah.
But language and safety would probably be the two big issues. Maybe we can tackle those one at a time, starting with language.
Yeah, sure. I mean, language for me, it hasn't been a barrier at all. I did take a few lessons, but I didn't want to really dive all the way in, because I wasn't sure if I was going to leave at the end of the 6 months. I got the tourist visa. I came for 3 months, and then I extended. I got another 3 months, and then about a month before my 6 months ended, I decided that I wanted to stay, and that's when I applied for my digital nomad visa. It would
Hmm.
help if you would apply much earlier than that. I waited too long, um, in the sense of, basically, once you apply, it doesn't matter if you go over on your stay, because they know that the application is underway, and they don't really
Uh-huh.
care if you go over. So I did a lot of it myself, because it was fairly time consuming and tedious to go through all the layers of steps. But then at the end, I hired an attorney to help me finish everything up, just because she knew everything to a T, and she was very fast, and she was amazing to work with as well.
Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick note here. My Latin Life can service your Brazil digital nomad visa. If you would like a digital nomad visa for Brazil, we have more information on mylatinlife.com-services. You can order your digital nomad visa to Brazil directly on our website, and we will get it handled for you. Just a side note.
Lost my track. What was the last thing I said?
Language barrier.
Oh yeah, yeah. So almost nobody here speaks English, so you'll have to be comfortable with that. I use a website called italki.com to take
Mhm.
classes. There's a lot of other options that are out there. I do have the Babo and Duolingo app, but I just never use them. I prefer the one-on-one, like us right now type classes. It's between $5 and $10 per class per hour for 1 hour of live teaching.
Right.
So I can recommend Talkie with experience. You can try a bunch of them for like $5 each, and then just pick the teacher you like the most, and then just start with your classes 3 or 4 days a week. I use Google Translate, occasionally. I don't have to use it every day. If you just learn the basics, like thank you, things that you're always going to say or ask at the grocery store because they're always going to ask you cash or credit or different things like that. Things that you always say to the Uber driver, the basic things: how to order drinks at the bar, how to order a caipirinha at the beach. You don't really have to learn very much. I'm not a huge partier, so I'm not out, clubbing it every night and all this kind of stuff. Um, and it does help, obviously, if once you're in a relationship with a Brazilian, because I've been dating a Brazilian, since day one. So she's pretty much
Best way to
always,
learn.
almost always, yeah, she's almost always with me. So if we have to say things in Portuguese, she does the speaking. So I've learned a good amount of words and phrases and things like that since I've been here. But I definitely cannot have a conversation of any type of depth at all. But I know, the basic stuff. Hello, how you doing? Nice to meet you. That kind of stuff. Obviously, food. You're going to be going in restaurants every day or every other day. You need to learn, the basics. But it hasn't really, slowed me down at all.
That's good. What about safety? Have you ever felt threatened? Do you feel safe?
I haven't had any bad experiences at all. You know, um, I live right on the beach. This area called Barra Mar is one of the safest and best areas. It's where the most tourists are, apparently. If I walk around, I just walk around in that area. I don't. When I first got here, I was like super cautious, like everywhere I walked. Um, but I haven't felt threatened at all. I did go to a co-working space for like 3 months in Centro, which is like a really really rundown shopping area here, where there's that literally thousands of stores.
Hmm.
Um, it was a little more sketchy, but I haven't felt in danger not a single time since I've been here. I do keep my head on a swivel, and I'm always looking around. I don't obviously walk around in bad areas or sketchy neighborhoods. I take an Uber. I generally go door to door, so they
Yeah.
drops me off right at where I'm going. I walk right in, and when I leave, I get right in the Uber and go right back home. So, but I go out here on the beach on the boardwalk. It's where pretty much where all the action is every evening. It's amazing, the vibe here. There's always live music out there, and drinking fresh coconuts and caipirinha stands like every 100 yards. And not once is I haven't even seen a single person raise their voice. Not a single fist fight. Not a single anything since I've been here. It is way safer here than like Sao Paulo or Rio. It's also a lot calmer here. It's way more peaceful. Looking at the beach right now, there's hardly anyone at all on the beach. This is how the beach is every day. It's very, very quiet, very chill. To one of the reasons why uh, my buddy Ricard, the Swedish gringo, why he had to leave here, because he ran out of content ideas. It's like such a chill area. He wanted to get back to all the action of Rio. But yeah, it's great. I would much rather live here than a place like Rio, because there's still thousands of bars and restaurants and clubs and everything here if I want to go to them. But
Yeah,
just overall, the lifestyle is a lot more calm. And I
definitely.
also love that there's so many beaches and beach clubs and all those types of things, north and south in both directions of here,
S-
that are
So
incredible.
you're in the Barramar area?
Yeah, it's called Beramar,
I'm looking at it.
Mirror
It's like
Lake.
it's nearer to Centro, kind of in the bay, if that makes sense. Because I know
Um,
a lot of people also go to like Praia do Futuro, which is
yeah,
like
that's
more.
that's right here, but on the other corner of the coastline. It's only
Yeah.
about 25. That's the 25-minute ride I was telling you about earlier that we talked about.
Okay.
So that'll cost you a big $5 to get from here to there to go to all the beach clubs. There's like 15 or 20 beach clubs right there in that area.
I
They're
imagine
all
those beaches are a little bit nicer on the Futuro side.
they're actually not as nice
Oh,
because
really?
over there, for Brazil is very weird in that certain areas and certain beaches have a lot more wind than
Uh-huh.
other beaches, and that area
Right.
is super windy. That's like a
Because
big
it's
kite
more
surfing.
exposed to the ocean and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you come around the tip and then you start to head west, then that's when you come into me on Fortaleza. But then if you keep going west, then you get to Kumbuku and Jericoacoara, which is one of the most scenic places you can go up here.
Yep.
It's really, really stunning. Sand dunes in the ocean. It's just beautiful. But over there, it's kite surfing paradise. So Kumbuku right now is my favorite spot to go to once a month. It's really amazing. It's only 30 miles from here, but it's like an hour drive because of construction on the roads, and it's just slow going. But
This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you by Language Blend, the new best way to learn Spanish. Language Blend focuses on what you actually need to live and get by abroad with daily one-on-one lessons, a dedicated texting partner. It's like living in a Spanish-speaking country without ever leaving home. Go to languageblend.com for more information. Okay, cool.
um,
So that's the city beach in Fortaleza is actually pretty nice than the beach like immediately facing downtown.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly it right here. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't really, I mean, we don't. There really isn't a downtown here in this area. Because this just the city is just so it's like 2.6 million people here in Fortaleza.
Hmm.
So it's just literally thousands of condos as far as the eye can see. So, uh, I mean, they do have a couple of big soccer stadiums and pro teams and things like that, but pretty much the whole city is like the downtown. Everywhere you drive, it looks like downtown basically.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got it, got it. Yeah, because I know there's like, the beach kind of in the bay of the city, kind of near the port and stuff. And then there's
That's
the
right. That's
beach.
right where I am. I'm right next
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
port. I'm looking at it right now out my window here. Yep.
Okay,
So
that's
you
cool.
can have
And
a
it's still swimmable water and all
Oh
good.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of cruise ships that come in here, but it's mostly tankers and small military ships, things like that.
Okay, nice. I like it. I mean, dude, I think this city is destined to grow a lot in the future. You think it has potential?
Yeah, there's a lot of construction boom going on for real estate right now. They're building a lot of. I mean, I can just see four of them out my window right now. Big skyscrapers that they're building. They're building new super luxe condos everywhere. There's about
Mm.
20 something projects going on right now just in this area. The one right out in front of me right now is 51 stories tall. To give you an
Wow.
idea.
Wow.
Yeah, 51. So they're not playing around. I actually went 2 days ago to look at some of these. Um, I went to the offices where they had the demos and the scale models, and
Yeah, yeah.
you can walk into a unit, what it's supposed to look like, and they're really, really, really nice, super upscale. I mean, they're building LEDs into everything now, into the ground, into the staircase, into the walls, into the ceilings. Um, Almost all of them have helicopter pads up on the roof. A lot of them have swimming pools with infinity edge up on the roof or very high up, like on the 25th floor. A lot of the same kind of stuff you see in Thailand now, in Bangkok and some of these other big cities. But yeah, it's becoming. It definitely looks old when you first get here. And you're like, man, the majority of the buildings look really old. It looks a little bit run down. There's graffiti on a lot of the buildings, which I absolutely hate. You got the typical Latam barbed wire and spikes on top of the walls and for security and things like that. But it's coming a long way, and you can see when you go north or you go south that there's a lot of big ground, villas and massive construction projects and developments that they're building now for not skyscrapers but like ground level,
Hmm.
where they like take over like 30 or 40 city blocks basically, and they're building like a whole entire communities everywhere in both directions. So
Hmm.
the growth is starting to spread out of Fortaleza, like Cambuco, Porto das Dunas, and a couple of areas in both directions. So the real estate values in those areas in the next 5 years is really going to skyrocket, and things are really booming and growing everywhere here. Yeah, so that's exciting to know because I mean I plan on staying here, in addition to Colombia and Thailand.
Do you have any idea around prices?
Yeah, I do. The condo that I'm in right now, which is very small, only 47 square meters, or however they pronounce it here, um, is like around between 8 or 900,000 reals, which divided by five is, you know, 200 grand basically.
Seems high for a studio.
Yeah, it's a two bedroom, but the bedrooms are
Oh,
super tiny. It's super tiny, like you can see, very
okay.
small. It is a little high. I wouldn't buy only because the square footage is so small. You can get into an older building, that's not quite as nice of a view, for the same price or less for sure. Obviously, like any country, the closer you are directly to the sand and the ocean, the more things cost. They charge you for the view, and they charge you for the height. The higher the floor, the more they charge. But if you want to go 1 or 2 blocks west from the ocean, I mean, you can buy something that's 100 to 150 meters for way less money. The Airbnb that I came from before this was an older building, also two bedrooms, but the rooms were bigger. That was like 65 grand, only three
I've,
blocks from
I've
the
heard of
ocean.
things like that. I've heard of
Yeah,
like 60K condos and stuff.
only 3 blocks from the ocean. I mean, it was supposedly renovated, but it was still bare bones. Um, if you just want to come and obviously you can do your own renovations, put in a brand new kitchen, add some of those built-in shelves throughout the bedrooms with a built-in desk and a few little things like that. For very little money you can get all that done, and have a really nice place for very little money. But then they're building these new places, like I was saying. It's unbelievable what they're charging for these places that are really really small. The same price, 800, $900,000 for 67, 70, 75 square meters,
Uh-huh.
but everything brand new with all top of the line Lux amenities.
And who
But
do you see is buying this stuff? Is it Brazil? Is it primarily a national market? Is it primarily Brazilian buyers or
yeah, I
foreign
think it's
buyers?
I think it's both. The Airbnb business is big, very very big here because you can buy in reals, and you can charge on Airbnb in USD.
Uh-huh.
So you can make really good money. Also, there's endless amounts of opportunity with buildings that are dilapidated or run down or not updated, or empty land. There's empty land here everywhere on the ocean. It's unbelievable. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Right on the sand, directly across the street from the sand, only 1 block over from the sand. There is empty lots or rundown houses that are obviously not occupied because they're just completely raggedy.
Right.
But if you've got money, you can just come here and start buying up and opening up stuff everywhere. The other thing is that there's almost no Airbnb restriction here at all. Like
Oh,
literally every
really?
single building that I've seen has endless Airbnbs inside of it. All of them. There's no
Yeah.
restriction. It's highly welcomed, and not only that, but the security in the front desk like handles all the people for you and everything. They're like, hey, come on in. We've got your name. Hey, here's your keys. Let me
Yeah.
walk you
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
And a lot of those they call flats here. But yeah, I know, there's a really big anti Airbnb movement in the United States with a lot of places right now, but it's the exact opposite here. They love Airbnb. They love
Mm,
tourists. And it's very inexpensive. I mean, you could easily just live here permanently and just live in Airbnbs. I mean,
definitely.
you can
Where are
always.
you seeing the majority of people are from? Like you've probably seen foreigners and stuff. I remember I used to hear that it was popular among Italians and like people that would fly from like direct from Europe to Fortaleza. I'm not sure what you're seeing in terms of where the foreign tourists are from. If you've been coming
Yeah,
across
I
people.
haven't seen too many Italians. I know there, part of Brazil is actually a pretty big Italian population. There's a lot of heritage in Brazil from Italy, but
Uh-huh.
I haven't met a lot of tourists. The ones that I have met were pretty much from all over the place. I haven't had a ton of discussions with a lot of them. There's a lot of hotels that are downstairs and right nearby me that I've been to, to have brunch and to some different things like that. So I keep my ear out for languages I hear that are not Portuguese. I've run into very few Americans since I've been here. Um, I'm a member of a local digital nomad group here on Facebook, so I met some great people from there, and they were like from all over the place. I mean, from Germany, from different places in Europe, Sweden,
Hmm.
Australia. So I haven't really come into like a big group of any nationalities so
Hmm.
far.
So
Um,
probably Americans bigger
it's like
than
like a
anything
melting
else.
pot, so to speak. Um, I've only encountered, I think, two or three Americans since I've been here in the last year. Literally, hardly none at all.
Which is crazy because there are
Yeah,
direct flights from Miami,
I don't. I mean,
aren't
yeah,
there?
it might be. Yeah, I know when I came from Orlando, there was like no direct flights for me. A lot of times you either land in Brasilia or Recife. Those are the two main layover spots. But pretty much all the airlines, come here. Latam, Azul, Gol. Those are the top three. Um,
Classic.
but yeah,
Speaking of foreigners, I guess, is you're friends with two pretty well known guys on the Brazil
yeah,
digital nomad scene, Swedish Gringo and
yeah.
Chris Freelancer.
Yep, yep. I mean, I've always been a pretty big networker. I love, just connecting with people, and it's obviously a great way to make new friends and make new connections. And when you're in a country where you don't know anyone, I mean, you would be crazy not to try to do that as often as you can. So I have been watching Swedish Gringo for forever, online, and I was like, dude, how cool would it be to actually meet him one day? Just to have a chat and to have a caipirinha, and sure enough, I found out he was coming here, so I just hit him up on Instagram, and we just connected that way, and we became really good friends. We've hung out a bunch since he was here, and he had some things what with Chris while Chris was here, and Chris I also knew from YouTube, but not as much. I had seen
Isn't the
4 or 5
Swedish
of his
Gringo, what's
videos.
his first name?
Ricard,
Ricard.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
Ricard,
For some
yeah.
reason, I thought his name might also be Chris. I don't know why, but
Okay,
okay,
no,
okay,
no,
okay, okay.
Ricard.
So Chris the Freelancer and Ricard the Swedish Gringo. Both these guys have YouTube channels for the audience if you're curious.
Yeah, they have. I think Ricard has one or two, and then Chris actually has a lot of YouTube channels. I didn't know this. He has like 4 or 5. And he
Yeah.
has a mass. He has
Yeah,
a lot of
he used to
subscribers.
be he kind of like died off in starting in COVID because he was in Australia, but
Yeah.
he was really big back in like 2017, 2018, 2019,
Okay.
in Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
things like that, making kind of, Bali for digital nomad type videos.
Yeah.
Chris the Freelancer I'm talking about. He was at a period of time like if you could say this, like a top five digital nomad in
Okay.
terms of
Cool.
like well knownness, I guess. But what's it been like, kind of getting to know some of these hardened digital nomads as a relative newbie? Has it been interesting to see how they address the lifestyle and how they think long term and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, it's been interesting in a lot of aspects. Because when you see them on YouTube, you obviously have this preset motion in your mind of like what they're like, what they're like when they're out in public. What's it going to be like? Spending any kind of time with them, and really they're really just exactly the same way that they are, in person. They were exactly like they were in video. They weren't really any different. Gringo was fun to hang out with. He loves to party, drink. He's very social. He also speaks fluent Portuguese now because he's been down here for 2 years. So uh, that was a little surprising to me. Like his Portuguese was really, really good, and it definitely made me jealous. It made me kick myself in the ass. Like I got to get aggressive with these classes, so I can
Hmm.
be on that level for sure. Because I plan to be here, permanently, as one of my main residences. But it was great. They're not like anything other than what you see on YouTube. They're not too outgoing. They're like chill, but they're friendly. Sometimes people might know them if you're on the beach or whatever, but they're just very down to earth, great guys. Great. Chris, I'm also a DJ. Chris, uh, he kind of shocked me. He jumped on the decks and was mixing with me, and then I come to find out he's also a DJ, and he's had some cool gigs that he's done and different things like that. So we had a great night here mixing on my balcony one night,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, man. So just great guys, great. They connect with them, and I'm definitely going to be doing some more content with them down the road, and hopefully we keep running into each other. And it would be dope, really dope. I would really love to get like 3 or 4 guys together and just like plan a trip somewhere together. And just all of us go together. I think that would be
Mhm.
super dope. But
So,
yeah,
so did you bring mixing equipment to Brazil with you?
I did. Yeah. Well, I brought. I sold my speakers and a few other things, but I only brought my mixer. So um,
Huh.
I had
How
no
big is
idea
that?
that. I mean, it's a good size. I came in a case, but it was inside of a large box that I brought on the airline, which was another mistake that I could help the viewers with. But yeah, it was a Pioneer DDJ SR2, so it's a good size, but it's not like a monster mixer. But I had it in a case and I had it in a box with all my clothes and stuff. So it was fine to bring it here, and it's very light. It doesn't really weigh a lot. But electronics here are
Pioneer
not easy to get, and they're
DVJS2
DDJ SR2. Uh,
SR2.
yeah, it's a two channel mixer.
Okay, cool.
It's
And what
like
was the
it's like
lesson learned? What was the
the
tip?
mid range. The lesson learned was bring the bare minimum. My airline charged me $800 to bring my boxes. I had 2 boxes. Okay. To bring the stuff that I had because of the size and because of the weight. Because I knew I was leaving the United States and not coming back. So I've like brought everything I could without bringing the whole kitchen sink. I got a small storage unit in Orlando. I put everything else in there, obviously, but the stuff that I just could not live without, and my mixer is one of them because I'm very active with mixing and making mixes and stuff. So
Mm.
um, music's my passion, one of my top 3, for sure. So I didn't want to come here and then have to try to find a mixer and this, that, and the other. So I just brought it. I was like, fuck it, I'll just bring it. Um, but I'm
That's
glad I
cool.
did. Yeah. So, but I did buy some speakers and speaker stands once I got here. But the electronic selection here is very minimal compared to the U.S., and it's much harder to get decent stuff here. And it's way more expensive here because of the taxation here on everything. They like 50% tax everything.
Right.
Um, so uh, you can order some things on Amazon, but the pickings are very, very slim. It's nowhere near what it's like in the U.S. Yeah, and they sell, of course, a lot of Chinese names and this, that, and the other. So you have to be way more flexible on the electronics here.
Hey guys, quick interruption to tell you about BitRefill. BitRefill is the best way to convert your crypto into gift card balances. These are gift cards that you can spend at hotels.com, Airbnb, Nike, and many more. You may remember Joel Valenzuela, previous podcast guest. He's been living on crypto exclusively since 2015, and he's a big consumer of BitRefill. And so I asked Joel, I said, what do you like most about BitRefill? He said that he likes the instant delivery, the precise amount so that you don't have to juggle a lot of gift cards, and he loves the global selection. Nobody else has this much selection of gift cards, over 10,000 gift card options across hundreds of countries. Go to bitrefill.com to sign up, and you can also use the code MyLatinLife for 10% back off your first purchase. Go to bitrefill.com for more information. So, as a music fan, what's it been like in Brazil? I guess kind of coming back to the vibe, just to expand on the idea of how different the vibe is in Brazil day to day compared to the US in terms of like music
Yeah.
in the streets and things going on.
You know what it is, man? To me, it's just the vibe here is like peace and happiness. You know, I got way too emotionally involved, and I'm still. You probably see me on Twitter every once in a while. The politics situation in the U.S. is really it's driving me and has been driving me absolutely crazy. So we're not going to talk about that on this discussion, but you know, when you go down to the beach and there's like a group of guys playing drums and bongos and this, that, and the other, and they're just singing Brazilian music, and everyone is just happy. Everybody just wants to have a drink, chill out. There's four, five, six different types of Brazilian music here. Um, most of them I don't really like. I love Latin music, so don't be surprised if I make roots in Medellin like immediately, um, because I've I mean, obviously my two wives were Latin. I've dated Latinas for the last 25 years, and I just love everything about the Latin culture. So it's definitely a little different here because the music is very different, the language is very different, the food is similar to Latin food,
Hmm.
but it's just chill. People are just playing volleyball, playing soccer on the beach. There's music everywhere. People are happy. Even the Uber drivers are happy, man. Everyone's just loving life here. There's no stress here at all. There's no political decisiveness. You do see the stuff going on with Lula and Bolsonaro, but it's minimal. It's nothing like what you see in the U.S.
How
You know,
is
where-
like if people know South Beach, most Americans have probably been to South Beach at least once. How would a beach in Brazil be different? How is the boardwalk in Fortaleza different than say the South Beach boardwalk?
it's honestly it's not really any different at all. You can rent bicycles or scooters or all those types of things if you want to. I think they even rent rollerblades here on the beach. But here they have vendors everywhere. You either love them or hate them. I don't mind them so much because they're just trying to make a living like everyone else. But because the prices are so low, and the vibe is like so chill. People love dogs here, and there's a big dog life culture here. you know um, Obviously, I'm from South Florida, so you can go to South Beach and you'll be hard pressed to go there and not spend 150 or $200 in a day. But parking will cost you 35, $40. And then you got the food at 30 or $40 for one meal, and then you got the drinks that are 20, $25 each, and then obviously the gas, the trip to get there, blah blah. I mean, here it's impossible to go to a beach club, have 6 or 8 drinks, and spend more than $100. I mean, and eat and everything included. I mean, it's very inexpensive. It's so cheap. But just the vibe here, like I was saying before, the Bahakas are like every 50 yards. There's like another one, and then another one,
Yeah.
and then another
Just like
one.
a beach hut, basically.
Yeah, they all rent their own chairs, and then you have the bigger Bahakas, which are like the restaurants. So, I mean, just downstairs within my view right now, there's like 25 different restaurants. I can have sushi, I can have
Cool.
Mediterranean, I can have pizza, I can have Brazilian food. I've got all these different guys. It costs to rent 2 chairs, and a cabana, with everything for to sit there for the entire day. To rent him for the whole day, it costs less than $20. Um, I think it's like $10 to be honest with you. And then they serve you drinks. They just keep coming by like every five. Hey, you want another one? You want another one? And they make all the drinks right there on the spot for you. The drinks are like $4 for like a big caipirinha. I'm not talking these little rocks glasses. I'm talking like a big giant solo cup.
Yeah.
And they have them in like
We're not messing around.
15 different flavors. You can have kiwi. You can have whatever flavor you want, man. They got them all. Yeah. So the peace of mind is just this. You can go and you can do anything you want and enjoy your lifestyle, and you're not making financial sacrifices that are going to take food off the table, or you're not taking away from your rent money to be able to
Hmm.
enjoy your life like that.
Hmm.
you know in the US, it's like you're always sacrificing something. you know if you want to go out and eat out a lot, it's easily going to cut into other budgets of areas of other things in your life. That it's going to cause you a lot of sacrifices. You're going to have to cut back on some things, or you're not going to be able to pay the rent of your car, or whatever. um, at least that's how it was for me. So I'm beginning to really love like this minimalistic lifestyle. Like, I brought way too many. I left 3/4 of my clothes in storage, but the things that I brought, I still brought way too much. I ended up giving away a lot of it. There's no reason to come here with 25 pairs of running shoes and sneakers and dress shoes and all this kind of stuff. Why? Because you go out, no one wears dress shoes. Everyone wears what I call flip flops. They don't call them that here, but sandals, flip flops, basically.
Yep.
You go out to a bar at night and people are just wearing sneakers or whatever. So you can get by here 4 or 5 pairs of shoes total and be totally fine. You don't need anything else. You know, I mean, you know how we are in the U.S. 62 t-shirts, 27 pairs of jeans. You know, we it's just not like that here. You can be totally minimalistic and be totally fine. No one will
Mm.
think anything worse of you. No one's gonna, call you broke or make fun of you. None of that stuff because everyone is happy here. This the whole mentality here is just so different than what we come from in the U.S. Um, uh, I don't want to be around it anymore. It's very non materialistic. Same thing with the cars. Like I was saying, people buy very cheap cars. They drive around. No one cares what kind of a car you drive. They're not chasing brand names. That people don't even watch their cars. It's you know
Mm. Have you
it's
had
all up.
any like culture shock moments or like interesting anecdotes regarding the mentality where you brought your American mindset to something and had to learn a different way?
I mean, other than what we just discussed, not really. You know, in the U.S. we're so obsessed with like we just talked about. How many pairs of I got to have the most recent pair of Jordans or Yeezys or this, that, and the other sneakers, and I need a different pair of sneakers of every single color so I can match my different outfits and all that. Just that whole mentality, all this posting on social media. Um,
Mm.
women in their selfies 24 hours a day and trying to show off, the car they're standing in front of and who they're with and where they're visiting and where they're going and all this kind of stuff. You just don't see none of that here, none of it. And
Mm.
I mean, that was one of the main reasons that I was just so ready to get out. It's becoming way too fake in the U.S. Um, I mean,
Mm.
you just see all these one Ponzi after another Ponzi after another scam after another person robbed another person, another business partner stole funds out of this, that, and the other. And I mean, we see it every day online, on Twitter and, Justice Department notices. And the thing is, like in my life, like I just want peace. I want to be able to live, and just enjoy my life to the fullest. And I want to have peace. I don't want to have any stress. I don't want to fight over all this shit that's going on with all the politics right now. I don't want to, make six figures or more and not be able to pay my bills and save for retirement and pay my
Yeah, that's
taxes and live
insane to me. It's
comfortably.
insane to make 10.
Okay.
Like if you told a
That's all I
Brazilian
want.
that
I
you
want it.
can
I want peace. Yeah.
if you told a
So
Brazilian, you can
I,
make 10K in the US and still be paycheck to paycheck, they wouldn't be able to understand.
No, no. And I see it every day because I talk to them. I'm like, hey, how long have you been working here? What kind of money the person that has this type of job, what do they normally make? And I hear it, and they tell me all the time, they make three, four, five, 600 reels a week. That's $100 a week.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're happy. They're not stressed. They're not out mass shooting up the malls and churches and this, that, and the other. There, you don't see. I haven't seen a single gun here in a year from anyone other than a police officer. Okay, so when I came here, everyone and his mother told me this is the most dangerous place on earth.
Right.
You're gonna get robbed. You're gonna get robbed every week. This, that, and the other. And I believed all that stuff, right? Because that's all I heard, and that's all I saw. And of course, my friends and family all told me the same thing, and it's been the exact opposite. I feel way safer here than I do in the United States, where they're selling 25 or 22 million guns every single year. And I'm not going to get into politics and all that, but yeah, I feel my
You feel
life is at
safer in
peace here,
Fortaleza than you do in Orlando or
way
South
safer,
Florida.
way safer, way safer. And if I do get robbed, I'm smart. I carry one credit card. I carry 50 reals, which is $10. Okay. And if someone comes up to me with a gun, dude, they could take whatever. I mean, I'm not losing nothing. I don't walk around with boatloads of cash. I still
Yeah.
have all my U.S. bank accounts. Because I got my digital nomad visa a couple weeks ago, finally. Now I can finally open my bank account here. So I'll start to do that. But I wanted to talk to you and a few others about the tax situation first. But yeah, I mean, I'm still doing everything through the U.S. for now. all my clients here in the U.S. If I need more clients, I can jump on Upwork, Fiverr, and a dozen other sites and get extra work anytime I want. But I don't want any more work. How much work do you really need? How much extra money do you really need? When you're living comfortably, and I can travel every month, I can pay my bills, I can eat anything I want, I can buy anything I want. Um, I mean, within reason, obviously. I'm not, you know, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm by no means wealthy. I'm by no means wealthy, and I'm still paying off a lot of debt. Can I get into that for 1 second about the debt?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, I just think it's important because we talked earlier about so many people have a lot of debt. So, in the last year, I've paid off over $30,000 in debt. Okay, I've also saved um, over 10 grand in savings. And on top of that, I've got multiple work done on my teeth, which cost me about 25% of what it would have cost in the US. Like fillings, tooth restorations, deep
Hmm.
cleanings, that kind of stuff. I just got diagnosed for this third time with skin cancer. So I had skin cancer removed on my arm, a spot on
Wow.
my head, and 3 spots on my back. So to have all of those things removed and to have 4 biopsies on 4 of the pieces cost me $500 total cash. Okay,
Yeah.
that would have easily cost 2,500, 3 grand in the United States to have all that done. Just the biopsies alone would have been like 350, 400 each just for the biopsies. So the medical tourism obviously is a huge thing. People that are looking to travel to get any kind of work done. I didn't
Hmm.
come here for that, but I did hold off on getting some dental work done until I got here because I knew once I got here, because I had already looked into it, that I could save a ton of money. The
Yeah.
doctors here are just as credentialed as any American doctor, and uh, endless certificates and degrees and plaques on the walls and board certified and all this kind of stuff. You can do that here as well. So that's another great benefit of living in Latam. Obviously, Colombia is very very big for breast enhancements, and veneers is another really big one in Colombia. My guy that I'm getting veneers too. By the way, I didn't talk to you about that, but I'm gonna get that done in Medellin. I already got my guy picked out. Actually,
Nice.
it might be Cali now that I think of it. But anyways, yeah. So that's another huge benefit. Why
The
spend three
medical
grand
tourism.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
when you can get it here done for 500? Um, So and even like teeth whitening, it's like a $100 or $200 here. And then they're going to charge you like 600 or 700 for Zoom whitening in the U.S. Basically the same type of thing. So just another advantage. Keeps stacking them up. Come
Yeah,
to
it's like
Brazil. That's what they say. Come to
I
Brazil.
yeah, I think the advantage stacking, if I could call it that way, it's hard to explain because these things you really only understand once you're on the ground or once you start in this lifestyle. Like when you're considering the lifestyle of, being an expat, you probably only have one or two things in mind. It might be living on the beach,
Yeah.
it might be avoiding winter, it might be low cost of living, maybe you're aware
Yeah.
of like the tax benefits, but then once you get into the lifestyle, there's all these hidden
Yeah.
benefits that you didn't
Definitely.
realize until you kind of started working on that path, and you go, oh wow, there's actually a crazy tax benefit that I didn't know about that's actually a major game changer. Or, oh, I didn't know medical tourism, I didn't know I could get I didn't know my chiropractor could be $20 an hour instead of $150 an hour, things
That's
like
right.
that, and it just keeps stacking and stacking.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm still discovering stuff all the time. $30 full body massages. You can buy real estate right on the beach or right off the beach for, I mean, the at the lowest. You can buy a plot. I just saw in Kumbuku, you can buy plots of land for like 15 or $20,000 right on the beach. I mean, right on the sand. It's unbelievable. And there's some drawbacks, like finding really good building contractors and things like that is hard here. But it all has to do once again with networking. When you meet the right people, they can lead you to the right other people. So it's
Yeah.
good. It's good to meet some different types of lawyers and different types of realtors because they know people. They know the best people that they can recommend for certain things. So yeah, definitely network and get into those circles as quickly as you can. The nightlife is incredible. I'll tell you that. Live music, Pagoja, the music, it's live bands. The vibe is, yeah, I love it.
Explain if someone doesn't know.
Yeah, well, and Pagoja is just one of the types of music they have here. I don't even really know how to describe it. It's nothing like salsa or bachata or anything like that. It's just eight guys playing different musical instruments and singing at the same time, and it's obviously got that Brazilian sound to it. It's a very very happy music. You can dance to it. Enjoy your drinks. The women love it. So where the women go, we go as men, and they play it everywhere. Beach clubs are really big here. Not just it's not like a it's they're not like massive beach clubs like you would think of, like in South Florida or something like that. They're normally fairly small, but they have either a live DJ or a live band, and they're very chill. The vibe is great. Good food, good drinks. Everything's very inexpensive. Right in the ocean.
Uh-huh. I think
Um,
the vibe is a huge part of it because I feel I would
yeah,
feel very comfortable going to a Brazilian beach club. I can
yeah,
just rock up wearing whatever,
that's right.
not super afraid about like getting in or the
That's right.
bouncer
Yeah. No
or
one
like
cares what you're wearing. No one's gonna check you at the door. No one's gonna laugh at
all
you
this
because you
stuff.
have a certain color shorts on and they're not made out of a certain kind of material and all this bullshit.
Because
Dude, everything here is just chill. You can
it's
just be
just so
you
douchey in the States. It's
24/7.
so douchey now.
Dude, and it's just so fake because I mean, I see it every day. It's even now, but I see it on my phone on news apps and Twitter and this, that, and the other. It's just so many people that they're faking a lifestyle, and then they get caught at some point and they get called out, and then you just realize all the shit I've been saying and believing for years is just everything is just all fake. We see it all. I don't know. I was just so over it. I wanted to get away so much, and I was glad I'm not around that anymore. Yeah. So, and the same thing with dating here. I see it. I haven't dated because I've been only with one person, but I see it everywhere I go.
Hmm.
Uh, People are just chill. People are happy. Everyone like has this. I just love everybody vibe. I'm happy with everybody. I'm friends with everybody. You can walk up to anybody and start conversations, and everyone's, hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from? And you just don't have any problems. I don't see a lot of like stereotyping here. Or
It's definitely
clicks
a game
and those kinds
changer
of things.
when people are just like always in a good mood versus in the States where it's like a little bit passive aggressive and stuff and standoffish.
Yeah, like who are you? Why are you trying to come up and talk to us? Look at how you're dressed. Whatever. You're not on our level or all this kind of bullshit. I don't. I've never been. I just can't stand that whole mentality. I don't know. I was raised a mama's boy. I'm just chill with everybody. I'm just happy to be alive and vertical, and not. I'm more on the Brazilian level. I love everybody. This music is amazing. Let's have a drink together. Let's get our
Mhm.
dance on and just celebrate life.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Quick break from the podcast to tell you about Language Blend, the best new way to learn Spanish. Language Blend was co founded by Jake Nomada, friend of the podcast, decade of experience in Latin America. And Jake and his team, they put everything into this program that they wish they had in terms of how to level up quickly with your Spanish language skills. Because the faster that you can get conversationally fluent in Spanish, the better the experience that you're going to have in Latin America. So go to languageblend.com for more information. Definitely, definitely. Sounds amazing. And so Brazil, one of the bases. Have you been to Asia before? You're aware of like Thailand and stuff? No?
Yeah, the
Okay.
crazy thing is like I've been on one cruise in my life to the Caribbean from Florida, and I've been to Canada once, and I've never once have I traveled anywhere outside of the U.S. in my entire
No
life.
way. This is like your
So
first international thing other than the
this is
cruise,
it. This is
basically?
my very first, bro. I mean, I took the big
Wow.
plunge on the very first trip. Yeah, exactly. I had a passport for I don't even know however long they last, 8 or 10 years, and I have not a single stamp on it. It expired, and I in fact had to get a new passport just to be able to come here. which I did obviously. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So, but now I'm here. I'm really excited to travel. I'm definitely going to Colombia next.
You've seen the
I've already
light.
got a bunch of Airbnb saved. Yeah, so I think for like my next 4 or 5 destinations, like within the next 6 months, 8 months at the most, I really want to go to Colombia first. I really want to go to Belize and Costa Rica,
Hmm.
Mexico. I would say those are my top five. Panama, I want to check out, but I'm not like super excited about going there. I mean, I am interested in possible
Oh, that's
tax
cool.
advantages,
I like
but
Panama.
it's okay. I think I'm more excited about Belize and Costa Rica. Mexico, I just want to go for the experience, not because I'm like dying to go there or anything.
So Jared,
And
let me
then
ask you
definitely
something.
Thailand is on my
Uh, you've
Thailand's
been following
top
My
six.
Latin Life and engaging with our Twitter for a long time now. I think probably like 6 months plus. I've
Yeah.
seen you in the comments and
Oh yeah.
stuff.
A lot longer than
Um,
that. Yeah.
Good. What do you think we're doing
Yeah.
a good job of capturing it? What do you think we're missing in terms of like capturing the essence of Latin America and explaining it for gringos?
Yeah, I think you're doing an amazing job. I mean, I haven't really seen anyone that's like doing it on your level, because you have all the different groups on Telegram. And I know that you just opened up this inner circle, which I joined. I keep forgetting to get on the calls though. So I promise you I'm going to jump on those.
Monday.
Because I do, like we said before, I love to tie in and network with everybody and just connect with as many people as I can. I would love when I go to Colombia to already have like, 10 people already lined up to hang out with and show me around and do fun stuff with and make some content with. I've been
Mm,
super slack with the content just because I've been busy with work. And honestly, I just got lazy. I love making content though. I brought like 7 or 8 cameras with me. I've got an amazing drone, mini Pro 4 DJI. I've got it all. I've got everything I need to make the boatloads of content, but I just don't really use it that often. So I got to get more aggressive with that. Yeah, I don't really think you can do anything more than you're already doing. I mean, you're doing an amazing job. I don't know how you keep up with all of it, especially all the chats on Telegram. And it's because you got one for each country. It's a little bit overwhelming. So props to you
yeah.
for that, man.
Yeah. If anyone's listening, there is a link in the show notes for the main Telegram group, and then from there you can join a couple of country specific ones for Brazil, Colombia, etc. So Jarrett, make sure you're in the Colombia one, and you'll have a built-in squad when you roll
I'm
up
in
to
all of them, bro.
Colombia. Sweet.
I'm in literally every single one.
No, it's really great
Paraguay,
to hear your
Argentina.
story, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Fair to
It's
say
been a,
that you
it's been
think
an amazing journey.
would you agree that this is probably a growing thing? This is going to be a bit of a long term trend, super cycle of
Oh
Americans
yeah.
moving to Latin
Oh yeah.
America.
I mean, obviously, YouTube is only getting more popular. It's only growing every year. More views, more videos being uploaded. It's just growing and growing. Now, there's never been a better time to get information on this lifestyle. Get information on how can you generate different income streams online.
Hmm.
Um, and start those immediately while you're in the States or wherever you're, seeing this podcast from, Australia, the UK, or whatever. But yeah, no, there's never been a better time, and it's never been easier now. It's very easy. There's a lot. I don't know what the total is, but there's a lot of countries you can go to that have no visa restriction.
Hmm.
Brazil starting next month with a new visa restriction, but it's an e-visa, so at least it's online only. That should make it way
Hmm.
easier.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's never been easier. You can go most places have like a 90-day cap, so you can bounce around every 90 days if you want. I thought about that initially, but I just didn't want to have to move and pack up everything, including those big boxes that I brought here. I didn't want to have to do that so often. I wanted like a home base. So this is going to be like my home base. So now if I want, I can go to Colombia for a month, you know, paying a 1,500 or 2 grand for an extra place for a month is not a big deal. So I
Hmm.
can go there for a month, and then I can go to Belize for a month, and then whatever I do, I always got my place I can come back to here, but I can still travel and make content and still get my work done while I'm away, but really enjoy the lifestyle, that I've always dreamed about. And that's just traveling and being stress free in life and enjoying myself, to the fullest and making a lot of great connections and friends along the way. So
Hmm, definitely. So you have a SEO agency?
yeah, I do local and national SEO. I keep about 8 to 10 clients max at all times, um, and I've been doing that for since 2008, basically. I started off doing social media management back when back when MySpace was hitting. Okay, so that's how long I've been doing this. Um, and then I got more into learning how to do YouTube videos and film and edit with iMovie, and then I started doing WordPress sites when WordPress started getting really hot. Just because social media was not cutting it. Clients were paying like $500 or $1,000 a month, and it was a ton of work to try to create all the posts and do all the posts. And this was a long time before all these automation tools came out, like posting tools and Canva and all that stuff we have nowadays. But I got away from that pretty much as soon as I started doing websites, because I realized I could make $2,000 or 2,500 on a website. Why am I killing myself over 300, $500? So as you work with more clients, you begin to see like everything that's in their stack of what they're using and what they're doing every month. So I realized with SEO, like with websites, you're like always trying to look for a new client, because once you finish with the website, you're done and you got no more money. So I
Right.
realized like SEO was really big, because all clients needed it or they were already spending money on it. But most importantly, they spend every single month on it. And that, for me, was an absolute game changer in my income. Because I started off doing little $300 and $500, clients and things like that. Um, and then obviously as my knowledge grew, I've always been the type of person, like a lot of entrepreneurs, like I'm like never satisfied with learning. Like I'm always trying to learn more, and I'm always trying to like level up my game and my skill level when it comes to all the different things that I do. Um, and even to this day, I'm the same way. So multiple income streams. It needs to be scalable. It needs to pay residually as many of the income streams as possible, and you need to have at least one income that's like a big ticket income. So I know a lot of people do high ticket closing now. Same concept, big ticket. So you can have a lot of hustles or income streams, but at least one of them needs to pay well. So with SEO now, I mean, the average is 1,500 to $2,000 a month for a client. But then I have other clients that are like bigger clients. They pay much
Yeah.
more than that, because I'm producing a ton of content for them, um, for their blog every month, obviously to help them rank better, depending on how many services they have and things like that. But I'd say for me, like 8 clients is like the sweet spot. you know I can keep up with everything. I'm a one-man show, but I have a lot of outsourcers and a lot of people on my team that I've used for many 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 years. And I always find and use new people for certain little things that I might need. But I've gotten really good at SEO. It's taken quite a long time. It's a lot to learn. Um, a lot has changed. Obviously, every year it's getting harder and harder with Google. They keep changing constantly everything. So you got to keep up. If you don't, you're gonna get dusted. You're gonna get left behind. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I love the lifestyle, and I love being able to just work right here on my laptop while I'm staring at the ocean in Brazil. It's been pretty incredible. I love the life. Digital nomad for life.
Definitely. I could never see myself going back to office job, that's for
Oh
sure.
hell no, no. I did the cubicle thing in a couple places. I was actually, you remember the long distance company MCI?
MCI, no.
I'm going way back. That was like, back when we actually had long distance charges on our home phone bills. Okay. Anyways, I was an operator for MCI for like 3 or 4 months. That was an absolute disaster, working in a
Mm.
cubicle, answering customer service calls all day. So yeah, I've done all kinds of different things, but almost my entire life, most of it has been in some type of sales. I was a uh, independent insurance broker 2 separate times. I've always been pretty good at recruiting and building teams. Um, I've got experience in different types of things, and I sold cars for 6 years, 4 years for Lexus, 2 years for Honda. Um, so but
Online.
most of my life I've always been very very entrepreneurial. Even when I had a regular job, I've always had like one or two hustles on the side.
Yeah.
Car detailing, I did that for a number of years. Landscaping when I first got out of high school. Lawn maintenance, I had like 40 or 45 clients when I was 18 years old doing that. I've always been a hustler, but um, I would never go back to anything that's not online now. Online, it's got to be scalable. It's got to have multiple income streams. It's got to be residual income streams. Those are like the four main points that I try to work with. So, building a YouTube channel, it fits all those criterias. It starts slow, but it builds. It's residual. It's scalable. Affiliate income is the same thing. There's a lot of ways that selling digital products now, selling courses now, Patreon now. I mean, your insider group now. That's another one. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we can do, but the key is just to get started on something you're passionate about and go all in and learn, become, and grow and be the best that you can be. But never stop learning. Always try to diversify. I've been in some situations financially where I was at a decent job making decent money, and then all of a sudden I got fired and I had no savings.
Hmm.
And it was a very scary situation to be in. A lot of people have been in that situation, so I don't ever want to be in that situation again. um, I don't want ever I hate having anyone in control over me financially, for that reason. And also coming here and being in this position now that I'm in has really really taught me to save, just because you never know when something's going to happen. I mean, I just had the skin cancer. I mean, what if something happens to your health and you can't work for 2 years? I mean,
Yeah.
you just got to prepare. And the more you save, the faster you save, the sooner you can retire and really enjoy life and not have to work a lick. So
Jared, I have a quick question for you. We are going to wrap up,
sure.
but
Okay.
since you've been talking about this stuff, if someone's listening to this and they are kind of paycheck to paycheck, they don't have too much savings, um, would you recommend they have like a certain, and maybe they're not making money online yet, or it's pretty slow still? Do you recommend just leaving the U.S. and getting by with even like 5 grand or something, or do you think they really need to get to a certain nest egg level before making the move to Latin America?
I mean, myself, I would never recommend that, because you're really potentially putting yourself in a very bad position, of running out of money and having no way to make up for it. I would recommend just start off doing. I mean, you gotta. It's like in the beginning. It's like you got to take the shotgun approach in the beginning. You just got to spray out as many different gigs and different hustles as you can, until you get some income going on those, and then you bring it in a lot, and you start doing more of the higher paying, less clients but higher paying type jobs. Like
Hmm.
for me, it was web design and then SEO. Okay, and then
Yep.
you eventually you bring it down to the rifle approach, where you're like a sniper and you get one client that's paying you 5 or 8 or 10 grand a month. But you don't ever depend only on that one client. But why? Because once again, you have to be diversified. If the client pulls out the rug from under you, you got to have at least 3, 4, 5 other clients lined up that you're already earning from. So you can't let any one thing, one income stream, one employer, one 1099 client, control your destiny basically. So I started out with little Fiverr gigs when Fiverr first came out, and
Hmm.
then Olance and eDesk, and little things. Okay, $5 here, $10 here, $20 there, and I did like 27 different gigs. I was doing video editing, graphics, this, that, and the other. And then as I started to get busier with web design, I got rid of all that little shit. Okay, and then I was only getting, I started off with $500 sites. Get a few portfolios, a few jobs done for your portfolio, and then you charge 750, and then you get a few more jobs you add to your portfolio, and then now you're
Yep.
charging 1250. Okay, and that's just what you do, and eventually you get 15, 20 Google reviews. You got a nice portfolio. Now you're charging 1,500 to 2 grand for a site, and then you start learning SEO. This is what it was for me. So for you, it can be whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want to learn that can pay you well, that can pay you every month, not just one month. And then you do both at the same time. And then you just slowly grow that way. But yeah, I would start, do as many gigs as you can, build up all your skills and different things until you can get to the point to, you got to at least be making 2, 3 grand a month minimum. I mean, bare minimum. I just, unless you had like a huge savings account, I wouldn't do it. It's way too risky. Of course, it also helps if you have a ton of credit. Yeah, because if you have an emergency, obviously, you can charge it. But I'm not obviously teaching that method because we want you to be debt free, income rich, cash rich, and debt free. So, um, I would say realistically, you know, build up those hustles and side things until you're quite easily making 4 or 5 grand a month. And you know that if all those things just stop tomorrow, that you can start over from scratch with your skills that you now have and do it all over again easily. Now you're ready. Now you're ready. So realistically, it could be one or two types of gigs, and then you have like one higher paying thing that you do at the same time, like high ticket sales online. You can sell insurance online on the phone. You can do web design and SEO, um, but you got to have multiple things you're getting paid from. You have to be able to do it all online, um, and you have to be comfortable with growing it anytime you need to be able to grow it and scale it. Um, I mean, that's probably the simplest advice
So,
that I could give
do you want
without
to give
getting
a
into.
quick shout out to your services? Quick shout out to if people want to get in touch with you for SEO and so forth.
Yeah, sure, anytime. My website is Elevate SEO, ELEV, the number eight, SEO.com. I will say that I as bad as this is, literally never update my website because I get all my clients through referrals. I mean, I literally, yeah, I haven't even touched my website in years, but it's there. I do need to update it though. But yeah, I mean, if anyone has any questions, they can hit me up on, uh, you know, my, I don't really have.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, exactly. Jarrett S. Holmes. I'll send you my link so you can drop it all in there.
Will do.
Twitter, my YouTube channel, any of those things. I'm happy to help anybody. I'm very supportive of everybody at all times. No matter where you're at in your journey, you can get here with us. We want you here. You deserve to be here. You deserve to live this life and just be happy, stress free, and be excited about your future and not stressed out to the effing hilt.
Yes,
And
sir.
have no hope for a better future. Man, we didn't even talk about dating and that angle here, but that's not important. I've only been with one person the whole time, so but that's another massive benefit. Obviously, one of the biggest topics on YouTube. Obviously, the, the 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 dating lifestyle in Latin America versus American women. Oh boy, we need a long
I'm gonna
podcast
I'm
about
gonna hopefully I remember to cut that piece because we try to stay away from it. But
it. Okay,
Jarrett, thanks again for joining us. Jarrett Holmes, this has been another episode of the My Latin Life podcast. Thanks everyone for listening, and thanks again to Jarrett for joining us.
appreciate it, man. Thanks again so much. Have an amazing day.